Sure. Yes, sir. Very good evening, everyone. Okay. So, in this particular revision session, we'll do AS 17 segment reporting for CA Inter Advanced Accounting paper. Everyone ready? Now, this chapter is very simple, also important from examination point of view. Very small chapter. If you understood, you can attempt any question in exam. Chalega? So, let us start. So, segment reporting means this chapter say that the entire entity there are some small component, means the entity is actually a combination of component. That component can be either business component or geographical component, and we need to disclose some information about segment from the point of view of user. So what information is required to disclose, for which segment information will be disclosed, that we are going to understand in this particular chapter. So what AS 17 says that all the segments are of two types, business segment and geographical segment. So first we need to identify which is our business segment and which is the geographical segment for any entity. So what do you mean by business segment? Let us understand. So business segment means any component of the entity. So it is a component of the entity. So business segment is a component of the entity that is engaged in providing individual product or services. So that is engaged in providing individual product or services. For example, if I say I am providing you the services to teach you advanced accounting, the advanced accounting become one of my product. So that become a business segment for my business, for my entities, correct? So a business segment is a component of the entity that is engaged in providing individual product or services and that is subject to risk and return that are different from other business segment. For example, I am also providing the coaching for CA final financial reporting. So of course, can is the risk and return means the price and the cost of advanced accounting will be different from the price and the cost of my CA final financial reporting. So therefore, there are two different business segment. There are two different business segment. So a business segment is a component of entity that is engaged in providing individual product or services and that is subject to risk and return that is different from other business segment, correct? Now how to identify that business segment? For that there are some factors. The factor that should be considered in identifying business segment include the nature of product or services, the nature of production process, the types or class of customer, the method used to distribute the product or providing the services, or the nature of regulatory environment. For example, just try to understand, suppose I am teaching CA foundation as well as CMA foundation, and normally the targeted student are same because the class 12 student who pass from commerce stream will be the targeted student of class of customer for CA foundation, CMA foundation will be same, and as well as the more or less the syllabus is also same. So can you see the nature of product will be also same, therefore that two product can be combined together and that can be one business segment. Understood? Yes, sir. Then geographical segment, however, this is not so much important from examination point of view because they will not ask the definition. So geographical segment means what? Geographical segment is a component entity that is engaged within a particular economic environment, means in a particular location, that is engaged, that they are operating within a particular economic environment and that is subject to risk and return that are different from other geographical segment. So that become a geographical segment. So we need to identify geographical segment based on what? Areas of operation, political boundaries, based on currency risk. For example, currency risk, Europe, if you are doing business in Europe, so in entire Europe the currency will be euro, that will be different from Indian currency, that will be different from other country in Asia currency. So it is quite possible if you are doing any business in Europe, the entire Europe can be one geographical segment and India can be one geographical segment. China can be other geographical segment. Understood? Yes, sir. Now, once you have identified business segment and geographical segment, then you need to identify which one are reportable segment, because all segments are not reportable. Only those segments which are reportable need, for them only information required to disclose. The reportable segment can be business segment, can be geographical segment, for which segment information required to disclose by the statement. Understood? Yes, sir. Now, before identifying reportable segment, we need to identify which one is primary and which one is secondary segment. Means out of business and geographical, one will be primary, one will be secondary. Now, for primary segment, for primary reportable segment, we need to disclose 7 information, And for secondary reportable segment, we should disclose three information. So therefore, we need to identify which one is primary, which one is secondary. So either business will be primary or geographical will be primary depending upon the information given in the question. So what AS70 says that if the predominant source of risk and return is product, then business will become primary and geographical will become secondary. But if the predominant source of risk and return is location or class of customer, then geographical will become primary and business will become secondary. But if both are what dominant or neither of them are dominant, in that case it is based on the management discretion. Management will decide which one is primary, which one is secondary. However, the information will be given the question which one is primary, which one is secondary. From examination point of most of the question, business segment will be primary and geographical segment will be secondary. Chalega? Yes sir. Now after that, once you have identified which one is primary, which one is secondary, then we'll identify reportable segment. Ki out of business, how many segments are reportable? Out of geographical, how many segments are reportable? That is based on four criteria. The first criteria is based on quantitative threshold. Means there are some quantitative limit. If that limit that limit cross, then it will be a reportable segment. Okay. Now the quantitative threshold is based on the three particular point, based on the segment revenue, based on the segment result, and based on the segment asset. Understood? Now based on the segment revenue, when I say segment revenue is the aggregate of external sale plus inter-segment sale. So in this chapter, segment revenue will be external sale as well as inter-segment sale. Understood? So what AS17 want to say that if for any segment revenue, if for any segment revenue is 10% more of total segment revenue, that will be reportable segment. So what is the limit? Limit is 10% or more of total segment revenue. So for any segment, if the segment revenue is 10% more of total segment revenue, that segment will be reportable segment. Then coming to segment result means segment profit or loss. So we can say segment result means segment revenue minus segment expense. So normally segment result information will be given. Now in that case, what our AS70 says that if for any segment result is 10% or more of combined result of all segment in terms of profit, or combined result of all segment in terms of loss, whichever is greater in absolute term. For example, his combined result in terms of profit is 1000 and combined result of all segment in terms of loss is 1200. So it is negative. So negative will be always, means negative amount will be always lower than the positive amount. Therefore we'll take in absolute terms, means we'll find out greater in absolute terms, means we'll ignore negative sign and we'll compare 1000 with 1200. So this is greater, so this will become benchmark. Now we need to find out 10% of 1200, so that become 120. Now any segment profit or loss which is more than 120 will be reportable segment. Means segment profit or loss which is more than, either profit is more than 120 or loss is more than 120, that will become what? Reportable segment. I will take this one question to explain this point again. Then segment asset, based on segment asset, for any segment, if the segment asset is 10% more of total segment asset, that will be also reportable. Means QT means what? Quantitative threshold is based on three particular point. One is based on segment revenue, one is based on segment result, one is based on segment asset. If any one of these QT means either based on this or based on this or based on this, any one of these is satisfied, that segment will become reportable segment. Understood? Let me take one question. Come to question number 8. Got this point? So XYZ has 5 business segments. Profit or loss of each segment are given. You can see A, B, C, D, E, and they have given profit or loss. So profit has been given for A, B, and loss has been given for C, D, E. So can you give me what is the total profit? Total profit is 250. What is the total loss? Total loss is given how much? 300. So whichever is greater, so greater is 300. So it means you need to now find out segment result based on 300. Means you will do what? 225 divide by 300, how much it is coming? Because that is greater. So 225 divide by 300, it is coming 75%. Then 25 divide by 300. So 25 divide by 300, it is coming 8.33%. Then 175 divided by 300, how much? That is 58.33%. Then 20 divided by 300, it is how much? 6.67%. Then 105 divided by 300, how much? It is coming 35%. Now, which satisfy 10% more criteria? So this satisfies, so this become reportable. This is not reportable, this is reportable, this is not reportable, this is reportable. So based on segment result, A, C and E become reportable segment. This is your answer. Chalega. Let me take one more question. Question 10. Heavy Goods Limited has 6 segments. The total revenue, internal, external, profit or loss, and asset are given below. So you can see inter-segment sale and external sale is given. So we need to do plus. We need to find out total. So total, let us find out what is given. 4,200 plus 12,300. So total is coming what? 16,500. Then 3,500 plus 7,750. You can do total for all. So this becomes 11,250. So this becomes segment revenue. And the total, this total is what? Check karo. So that is 10,400 plus 35,350. It is coming how much? 45,750. Correct. Now you need to do 6,500 divided by total segment revenue. How much it is coming? 16,500 divided by 45,750. That is how much percent? 36.06%. That you can do for all segment, and you can find out this percentage 36.67. Then this. So based on segment revenue, okay, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable. So 4 are reportable. Then you need to find out based on segment result. So segment result is interesting. First find out total profit. Total profit is how much? Check karo. It is 3,000 plus 1,500 plus 900 plus 600. That is 6,000. And total loss is this 2. That is coming how much? 1,500 plus 750. How much it is coming? 2,250. Whichever is greater in absolute terms. So 6,000. Now find out segment result in terms of 6,000. Means compare with 6,000. 3,000 divided by 6,000. 1,500 divided by 6,000. 1,500 divided by 6,000. And find out this percentage. So this percentage you will find out. This is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is all are reportable. Or you can do in this way, ki 6,000 into 10%. Now any result which is equal to or more than 600 is reportable. So you can see all are equal to or more than 600. So that is reportable. Understood? You can do in that way. So similarly, we can do in this way, ki what is the 10% of this batao? It is 10,275. Now you can see this is reportable because it is equal to or more than 10,275. This is also reportable. This is also reportable. This is not reportable because it is. This is also reportable. 10,275. This is also reportable. This is not reportable. This is not reportable. So you can see they have given in percentage. Ki this is reportable. This is reportable. You can calculate in percentage, and this is not reportable. So you need to conclude that ki based on revenue which are reportable, based on result which are reportable, based on asset which are reportable, and then concluded L, M, N, O, P, Q are reportable segment. Got this point? Yes, sir. So this is one question which may be asked in exam. There are some clarification given. Ki segment revenue is the aggregate of external sale and inter-segment sale. Already I have informed. Segment result is the segment revenue less segment expense. Already I have informed. Segment asset is nothing but non-current asset and current asset of that particular segment. Already I have informed. Now, segment revenue, expense, asset, liability will not include. Means whenever you are identifying revenue, result, asset or liability for a particular segment, then do not consider the following item. Extraordinary item will not be considered. Investment related item means all investment or investment income will not be considered. Means segment revenue will not include interest income. Segment asset will not include any investment. Similarly, tax related item and head office related item will also not be considered. Means head office expense will not be considered to determine segment result. So this will not be considered to find out the segment information. Understood? However, this is not so much important from exam point of view, because normally in exam they will give you segment revenue, segment result, segment asset or segment liability. Chalega? Yes, sir. Now this was the criteria one. Second criteria is what? Management discretion. So what AS 17 says that management can add any segment as reportable segment even though it does not satisfy the quantitative threshold limit. So management has the discretionary power to add any segment as reportable segment even though they do not qualify the quantitative threshold criteria. Okay. Criteria 3 is what? Previous year reportable segment. What they want to see, if any segment was reportable in previous year. but does not meet the quantitative threshold criteria in current year, that will be reportable in current year. And even though it does not meet the quantitative threshold criteria in the current year. So what they want to say, any segment which was reportable during the preceding financial year as it meet quantitative threshold should be reportable during current financial year even if it no longer meet quantitative threshold criteria. Chalega. Last point is important from examination point of view, entities revenue criteria. What they want to say, if the total external revenue, external not total, external not segment, means segment revenue consists of external plus inter segment sale. So if the total external revenue reported by segment constitute less than 75% of entities revenue, 75% of entities revenue means what they want to say ki minimum 75% of entities revenue should be reported in the segment information. If that is not meeting, if that is not satisfied, then additional segment shall be identified as reportable segment until at least 75% of entities revenue is included as reportable segment. Correct. Let me take one example. Ki suppose as per the last question dekhte hain. Suppose only based on this, because in this question all are reportable, but let us assume only L, M, O, P were reportable. एक बार इसको ignore करो, let us ignore it. तो L, M, O, P were suppose reportable. तो L, M, O, P, तो L, M, O, P. Let's see, only they have given this information. This information is not given because in this to all are reportable. So it means 100% external sales are reportable. But suppose only L, M, O, P are reportable. Let us assume. So what is the total segment revenue which is reported? So that is 12,300 plus 7,750 plus 5,250 plus 5,500. So that become 30,800 become reportable external sale. And now what is the total external sales? Entities revenue is 35,350. Compare with this 35,350. Now what is this percentage? Divide by 35,350. It is coming how much percentage? You can see it is coming 87%, means that criteria is satisfied. And therefore now there is no need to add any segment as reportable segment. Correct now? If suppose only L, M, O, P were reportable. Now suppose it is coming less than 75%. So you need to add some additional segment as reportable segment such that the total external revenue reported should be at least 75% of entities revenue. Entities revenue means only external sale, total external sale. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? I hope you have understood. So this is also important, till now not asked in exam but can be asked in exam. Chalega? Yes or no? So this was what reportable segment. Now let us come to disclosure requirement. Once you have identified reportable segment, already I have said that for primary reportable segment will disclose 7 information, and for secondary reportable segment will disclose 3 information. So what are the information required to disclose, that we need to understand. So I have designed a format from examination point of view. So first, primary segment report. So primary segment can be business, can be geographical. Correct now? From exam point of view, it will be always business only. So we'll identify reportable segment. Reportable segment. Suppose A, B, C, D. Suppose A, B, C, D were business segment. Out of A and B are reportable. So C and D are not reportable. So C and D will be combined together for reconciliation. So we write down C plus D combined for reconciliation, because can I say whatever information we are disclosing, that should be reconciled with SOPL item and balance sheet. So for reconciliation, the other segment which are not reportable segment will be combined together. However, from exam point of view, they give all segments are reportable segment. So this column is actually not required from exam question, whatever they have given till now. Now first information required to disclose is segment revenue. So we'll disclose segment revenue. Now segment revenue consists of external sale, inter-segment sale, and other revenue, other operating revenue. This become segment revenue. Now this become the total of segment revenue, but this will not match with SOPL because this also include inter-segment sale. Inter-segment sale is not a part of a statement of PL, so we'll deduct inter-segment sale and this will become entities revenue as per SOPL. This is reconciliation part. Reconciliation part, correct? So first information to be disclosed is segment revenue. Second is segment result. Segment result. So segment result will be given the question. If not given, then we'll calculate segment revenue minus segment expense. So segment revenue required to be disclosed, but this will not match with the profit or loss in SOPL, therefore because there are some item which is not yet considered. So from this we'll deduct interest expense, then HO expense, head office expense, then unallocated income, any income which was not allocated segment wise, then add or less exceptional item, because exceptional item cannot be considered in segment information. This will become profit before tax, from that less tax expense. Now whatever profit is coming, that will match with what? SOPL. Understood? So this is reconciliation part. This is reconciliation part. So first segment revenue, then segment result, then segment asset. We'll disclose segment asset. So first we write down segment asset, whatever given in the question. This become total segment, but this will not match with the total asset in balance sheet, because there will be some unallocated asset, there will be some asset which is not segment wise. So we'll add deferred tax asset, that is not segment wise. We'll add investment, we'll add unallocated asset. This will become total asset from which will match with the balance sheet. Okay. Then we write down segment liabilities. Segment liability will be disclosed, segment liability, but this will not match with the total equity and liability in the balance sheet. So we'll add unallocated liability, DTL. Then we'll add share capital and reserve and surplus, and this will be the total equity and liability which will match with the balance sheet. And this total equity and liability and total assets should be also matched. So what are the four information we have done? Segment revenue, segment result, segment asset, segment liability. For that, reconciliation is also required. If information is given in a question, to reconcile it, chalega. Normally they will give reconciliation information also. Then after this, we'll also disclose three more information for which reconciliation not required. First is capital expenditure during the year, means any segment asset which is acquired during the year. For example, any PPA acquired, intangible asset acquired, so capital expenditure during the year. Any depreciation and amortization expense for that particular segment need to be disclosed, and any other non-cash expense need to be disclosed. So three more information: capital expenditure, depreciation and amortization expenses, and other non-cash expenses require disclosure. So this becomes seven information which is supposed to be disclosed for primary segment, primary reportable segment. Then coming to secondary segment report, normally in exam this will be geographical segment. For that, three information without any reconciliation. Three information without any reconciliation, so we'll find our reportable segment. For that, we'll disclose external sale, segment asset, and segment capital expenditure. So three information as segment revenue, that also only external sales, segment external sale, then segment asset, and then segment capital expenditure. This will become what? Information to be disclosed. Correct? Let me take one question and I will inform you how to report. How to report. So one question let us take. Prepare a segment report for publication of Diversify Limited from the following details of the company: 3 division and head office. So they have in 3 division: foreign shop division, bright bar division, and fitting division. So you can write down here. Suppose this is foreign shop division, bright bar division, and you can write down what? Fitting division. Fitting division, like this, and this become total. Okay. Then they have given what? Sales to bright bar. So this is inter-segment sale. Other domestic sale, this is what? External sale, and export sale is also external sale. So this become 90 plus 6135. So external sale is 6225. So you write down 6225 here. 6225 like this. Chalega. Then inter-segment sale was 4575. You can write down 4575. 4575. Total become how much? 4575. Add kar do. So this become 10,800. 10,800. Samjhe? Same thing we can do for other segment. Sales to fitting division means inter 45 inter-segment sale. So write down 45. Yes, sir. And they have given what? They have given export sales to Rwanda is 300. Means this is what? External sale 300 kar do. So total become 345. Similarly, we can do for other division, fitting division. Export sales to Maldives is 270. There is no inter-segment. So inter-segment is nil. And there is 275. Total become 275. Understood this point? 270, sorry. 270, 270. Now you can total this 10,800. 10,800 plus 345 plus 270. Total is coming how much? It will come 11,415. From this minus inter-segment sale, to inter-segment sale is 4575 plus 45 is equal to, this is 4620. So minus kar do 4620. तो माइनस करो 11,415, so that will come 6795. The total of this will be also 6795. check कर लो, 6225 plus 300 plus 270, so that is coming 6795. So this is what presentation I am saying. However, the थोड़ा सा presentation is different as per IC solution. IC has done in this way because there is no standard format. What they have done: division, foreign sub, bright bar, fitting, inter-segment elimination, and consolidated means total basis. So segment revenue they have given sales first, they have written domestic separately, export separately, external sales separately. The total of this is external sale, then inter-segment sales, this become total segment revenue. And from this you can see they have deducted inter-segment sales, same amount is coming in total. You can present in this way also. Now segment result, they have given segment result, check karo segment result they have given pre-tax, they have given segment result, correct. So segment result they have given 240 plus 30 minus 12, 240 30 minus 12, this become total segment result. From this we'll do reconciliation, to will minus what, will minus head office cost, so this total will be deducted because head office is not segment, head office expense should not be considered to find out segment result. Interest cost, this will be also deducted, so these two will be deducted, so you will get what, profit for the year as per SOP. You can see they have deducted head office expense, then interest expense, this become profit before tax, and this will be reconciled. Then information related to asset liability, so you can see they have given fixed assets segment wise, non-current assets segment wise they have given, this become total segment asset, total segment asset. Now they have given unallocated asset also, check karo, unallocated asset they have given fixed asset and non-current asset, that will be added unallocated asset, so they have added that, this become total asset. Similarly they have given segment liability, segment wise they have given, correct. Unallocated corporate liability given, they given total liability. In this question they have not given any information about share capital reserve and surplus, therefore ignore. Now if you read the question, they have given some information, they have given some information about sales, export and domestic. So can you say that is external sale, domestic means in India, export means outside India, so that is geographical information. So they have also presented geographical information, means primary not secondary segment report, correct. So home sales means export sales by foreign shop division, exports to Rwanda, export to Maldives. So external sale they have disclosed ki how much they have done on geographical wise, and this become the total external sale. This is the presentation. So this type of question they have given, I think 1 or 2 questions are there in ICS study method, that you do the same to same question will come in exam, same to same question will come in exam, only you need to practice, okay, understood. So this chapter is completed. Let me complete one more question. Macrotech Limited produces batteries for scooter, car, truck and specialized batteries for inverter and UPS. How many segments should it have and why? So you can see they produce battery for scooter, car, truck and specialized batteries for inverters and UPS. So normally we need to identify business segment based on this factor, nature of product or services, correct. What they have given. In this actually there are two business segment. One is battery for automobile and second is batteries for inverter and UPS. So there are two business segment, automobile batteries and batteries for inverter and UPS, because can I say they will be different based on this, so there are two business segment. This type of question can be also asked. One more question is there, they have asked you to calculate segment result, means they have given what, direct revenue, then enterprise revenue which can be allocated in 5:4:2 basis, then revenue from transaction with other segment, means this is inter-segment sale, correct. Now this you can total, inter-segment sale, are you getting? This is what can be allocated to, you can find out what, segment revenue. So segment revenue is what, this plus all inter-segment sale. So they have first calculated total segment revenue, then they have given operating expense, okay, then they give enterprise expenses which can be allocated on 5:4:2 basis, we can allocate this, then they have given inter segment expense also, this you can do, plus so we can find out total segment expense. So total segment expense can be find out, and then total segment revenue minus total segment expense will be total segment result. It is very simple, a new question has been introduced, you can do it by your own, chalega na. This question is also expected in exam, one more question is there, one more question. कि Nathan Limited has three segment PQR. The assets of the company are 15 crore. Segment P has 4 crore. Segment Q has 6 crore, and segment R has 5 crore. Asset means you can see 6 plus 4 plus 5 15 crore. DTA deferred tax asset included in the asset of each segment are 1, 0.90 and 80. The accountant contain all these three segments are reportable. Can I say but segment assets should not include deferred tax asset? So therefore they are deducted. You can see 4 minus 1, 6 minus 0.9 and 5 minus this. So this becomes 3, 5.1 and 4.2. Now the total is coming how much? 2.3 crore. Now you need to find out percentage. So 3 divided by 12.3. It is coming 24% reportable. Then 5.1 divided by 12.3. It is coming what? 41%. This is also reportable. Then 4.2 divided by 12.3. This is also all are reportable. Correct. All the three segments hold more than 10% of total asset, and therefore all segments are reportable. But can I say we need to apply this percentage on the segment asset excluding DT, excluding deferred tax asset. That was a point. Hence the contention of accountant that all three segments are correct, are reportable, is correct. This type of question can be also asked in exam. So with this we completed AS 17 revision. I hope you have understood. Correct. This much only. We'll meet in the next revision class. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Enjoy your remaining day. Bye bye.